Okay, so today we're going to have a look at how to crochet a gradient. We're going to do that using these 4 balls of yarn. So what we're going to be doing is essentially you need 2 of each colour that you're using. Now whether you use 2 separate balls or you use both ends of the yarn by sort of pulling it out of the middle, completely up to you. You just need two threads of each. So, and what that will do is essentially make your colours blend from one to the other. Now I've done this with quite sort of different colours, just for the purpose of the video, so that it's easy for you to see what's happening. But if you want to do it with a colour that's much closer in shade, you'll get a much smoother gradient. But for the purpose of today, we're going to use these 2 greens. Okay, so we're going to start with our dark colour. Just pull a bit off. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is double them up. So you've got your 2 yarns together. We're then going to make a slip knot with this. And pop our hook in, tighten it up. Now, essentially what we're going to do here is just a little miniature swatch. So if we do a few chains, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 chains, let's say. Okay, and then we're going to go back on ourselves, just as you would if you were doing a normal block of colour. 1, 2. So we're at the end of our first row of single crochets. We've got 10 there. What we're going to do now is just chain 1 and just single crochet 10 back along that row. And what we're going to do now is begin to transition into our light green. So, take our yarn, pull it out, and we're going to just leave a tail. Getting tangled. So, we're going to leave a tail, and we're going to hold one dark green and the light green thread. We're going to drop one of them, okay? So as we do our chain, we're pulling in that light thread like that, and when we turn, we're continuing by using the light one. So we're just going to go along and do our 10 single crochets. Okay, and at the end of our row here, we're going to just chain 1 and go back again. So that's 10 single crochets in the next row. Okay, so now we've got to the end of this row. First thing we're actually going to do is check which yarn is the one that we've stopped using for the dark green in the previous row. So it's this guy here, and we're just going to chop that off, leave a bit of a tail, and get him out of the way. We are now going to bring in our second ball of the lighter green, and exactly the same as we did before. We've got a bit of a knot there. We're going to hold that behind, leaving a bit of a tail. We're then going to drop out the dark green and hold only the 2 light greens in our yarn hand. Okay, and then holding that down, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Okay, and then we're going to continue back along with those 10 single crochets. Chain 1, and we're going to go back again for another row of 10 single crochets. Okay, so what we can do now, pull the hook up a little bit, snip those off, pull the yarn through the loop to tie off, and then we can chop off our final tails. That's all nice and secured now, and there we have our gradient. Now obviously it's not as smooth as you could get with a much closer colour palette, but you can kind of see how that blend works, the kind of general theory behind it. Okay,